My research is in the field of urban analytics. So it's essentially a combination between informatics and urban studies. In my line of research in the field of urban analytics, what we're studying is cities. So the fact that I'm currently working in one of the most dynamic city in the world, it's quite an exciting opportunity. So for example, I'm quite interested in this field, in this research regarding digital platforms. The emergence of digital platforms in cities are currently changing the landscape, the urban landscape. It's unprecedented because we have never seen this before. This intersection between technology, but then this physical element of cities are being meshed together, and then we are currently are able to see how transformative, disruptive this kind of digital platforms are. When you look at cities, you have lots of different elements, right? You have people, you have the buildings, you have the transport system, you have the tourism. There are lots of different things happening, and together they become a complex system. In my research, I'm looking into applying these different methodologies in terms of looking at the urban system. So I'm using quantitative methods, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and general predictive modeling based on simulation to be able to understand, based on this big data that is currently more accessible, to be able to help us navigate and advance our understanding of cities. We have this data that we constantly produce, for example, from the crowdsourced data, sensors. We have data from the government data. It might be from remote sensing, satellite imagery. Never before we are exposed to this amount of data that could be the tool to be able to understand how cities work, and how then cities as a place for people to live would be a place that could be sustainable, that could be affordable. I did my undergraduate degree in Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. And I also did my master's degree in University of Southern California. I grew up in Indonesia, and both of my parents, they came from academia. My dad was the first generation in his family to ever obtain a university degree. My dad always mentioned that education is one of the most important aspects you could pursue in your life, that it's something that could change someone's life. I studied my PhD in University College London. I started in 2015. I quite enjoy doing research just because we start with a question, and from that question, then we can explore. We are putting ourselves in the driver's seat. We are investigating things that we didn't understand. And I became quite interested in a particular platform, which is Airbnb. I'm currently looking at the relationship between Airbnb and housing in London. The effect of digital platforms is not the same in each area. So you have this very strong localities aspect. For example, the misuse of Airbnb, professionalization of Airbnb might affect a certain area more than other areas. And these areas might be a prime areas which have really good link to transport system. These are the areas in which people who lived long-term in a city would like to be able to afford. And these people might be key workers for the city itself. It could be people who provide service for the hospitals, for the schools, educators. So the key things that I have learned along the way is that my lived experience, my domain knowledge, those are the key elements that I could give in terms of being an educator. Towards the very end of my PhD journey, I found this open call, and it was a role in the geography department at KCL. The role is called geographic data science. It's essentially combining this geographical information system, but also looking into the data science aspect for students who would like to have a spatial data science pathway. I feel like that role really called to me. The expertise fits my interests as well as what I have been working on. We need to let ourselves define how technology can be used to have a better life and not the other way around. And so this research in terms of urban analytics, in terms of trying to understand how societies work in the future as well, I think that's an avenue that might be explored a bit more. So I'm quite excited in terms of the future research that I might be able to do. This particular field is an emerging field. There are lots of different elements that is yet to be explained. There are lots of things that we haven't explored yet. I'm quite excited to see where the future holds.